everyone, welcome back to Wild and Free Art. Today we are going to make a little experiment. Have you ever made a paper bead? I'm pretty sure most of us have, at least as a childhood project. But have you ever thought of trying to use natural materials to make your beads? I did, and I experimented and found that grass is absolutely stunning. It's easy to find, plentiful, ecological, and gorgeous. Every single bead comes and has a completely different color and pattern depending on the type of grass, when it was collected, how you've dried it, and they are super easy to make. I just dropped a bead. So stay tuned to see how I made these paper beads and if you like the results.
All right, so your first step is to gather your grass. You can use fresh grass and then dry it like I'm going to show you soon, or you can use dried grass that you've allowed to dry naturally like this one. I collected this grass in different places and different seasons. What's important though is that the grass is flexible. So if you have decided to collect fresh grass and you want to keep that nice green color or whatever color it naturally has, this is a great technique for drying it and keeping the color. It works great for pressed flowers too. So all you need is a soft surface, a piece of greaseproof baking paper, parchment paper, and an iron. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is to lay out your grass as flat as you can on your absorbent and soft surface. Be careful because obviously irons are hot. And once you have it all laid down, you're going to want to put your sheet of greaseproof paper or baking paper or parchment on top of the grass and iron it on low setting to keep it as flat as possible. A good way is to just take it slow, go on one piece at a time, and then you're going to want to check it. You'll be able to tell because the color of the green is a little bit different. So check it, see that it's dried, flip it over, and then repeat the process until you're pretty sure that it is 100% dry. So once your grass is all dry and ready to go, it's time to actually sit down and make the beads. All you need is PVA glue, and in my case I use E6000 for some of these because it depends on the fibers. So anyways, a glue, a skewer, a toothpick, an awl, something to wrap your grass around. Basically we're making paper beads. So the first thing you want to do is to follow the natural curve of the grass. So if you run your hands on it a couple times like I did, you'll see that it tends to curve in a certain way. And then you add the base of your leaf of your grass onto your skewer and roll it a few times to start the curve going, and then slowly and carefully roll it, trying to keep it as straight as possible. Your bead will have different levels because obviously a leaf is not a straight line, but I just love that it has all these different shapes and sizes to it, so I just kind of let it be. I did notice, however, that in some cases when the tip of the grass got very, very thin, the glue wouldn't stick. So I did kind of trim the tips a little bit if they were particularly thin. So once you've reached the end of your grass, near the end, you're going to add a little bit of glue, and you're just going to keep rolling, and this will help spread the glue around. And it's okay, it's a bit of a messy job, but if you keep going around a few times, the glue will spread throughout it, and it kind of adds like a layer of protection and helps to make sure that the tip of your grass stays put. Then you hold it on your skewer for a minute or two, just to let or a couple seconds depending on the glue you've used, just to let it grasp. And then you can just slide it off of your skewer. Here I've just trimmed off that piece that was not behaving properly. But yeah, you just then slide it off your skewer after you've held it there a couple minutes, or put it to the side to dry. So here you'll see that the tip just kept popping off, and this is where I discovered that PVA doesn't always work with all of the types of grass depending on the roughness. So I just used some E6000, or you could use Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1, anything that is silicone based, just to add a little, just a dab at the end, in order to ensure that it will stay closed and together. And then it's just a simple matter of moving on and repeating the process until you have finished all of your grass. And once you're done, this is what you have. What I did is I left it to dry for 24 hours before moving on to the next step. So the next step is to seal your beads so that they don't come undone. I experimented with 2 different ways of sealing. I used nail polish, clear nail polish, and matte varnish. Now, I prefer how the clear nail polish really enhanced the grain and texture on the grass. However, I mean, if you don't want some shine, the matte varnish works just as well. But I decided to do the rest of these ones in nail polish because that was my preference. But the method is exactly the same for both cases. So here I have used a skewer, and I also have a toothpick. I have various other little bits to stick them on, because you will need to let them dry without touching anything else. So you can use like jars, or in my case here, I just laid them on bowls just to let it dry. So all you have to do is take your varnish or whatever you're using, paint it on your bead. Make sure you get the entire bead, so not just the middle, but also the ends. You can also paint more than one bead at a time. Just make sure that they have space in between them so that they don't stick together. I did all of these. I let it dry for about half an hour, and then I repeated to do 2 coats in total on the beads.
And there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and making beautiful beads out of grass. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how long these will last. It's the first time I've tried to make them, and they're absolutely so beautiful. And I hope that between being dried and varnished, they will last a long, long time. But because the base is a natural material, they may or may not, you know, disintegrate over time. But I'll keep an eye out, see how long they last, and keep you updated if they start falling to pieces at any point. So thank you so much for watching with me. I can't wait to see any of your results. You can share them on Instagram by tagging me at Life is Wild and Free, or I'm happy to see them in the comments below the video. In the meantime, happy creating. Bye.